Welcome everybody to Avondale, Arizona for race number 2 of the NORL Cup Series here from Phoenix. Ready to get race number 2 of season 1 underway after a thrilling NORL 200 at Daytona. Jonathan Feld was the winner there as he was able to hold off everyone in the chaos in the last lap as he comes in as the points leader. Starting on the pole for today's race in his first Cup Series start, Mark Riggleman, a very talented driver, ran a couple Truck Series races last season and did very well, and that was very impressive, and is making his first Cup Series start here today from Phoenix. Starting next to him is going to be Eric Dobbs in the number 50 Burger King Chevrolet Camaro, the only Camaro in the field, and one of many Chevrolets. As you can see, there are, out of the 9 cars we have in today's field, 7 of those are Chevrolet Impalas, and 8 of them are Chevrolets in general. Jonathan Feld is carrying the Dodge banner for today's race. But anyways, Dobbs comes in second in the standings as he starts second in today's race, starting ahead of Jonathan Feld, not only the race 1 winner, but also the points leader. So Feld should be one to watch. He's also very strong at Phoenix, as he proved that in qualifying. Bobby Jones starts on the outside of row number 2. He is a 3-time NORL champion in general. He won the first 2 and the only 2 seasons of the NORL Late Model Series, so he has proven that he is very strong on the short tracks. He also won an NORL IndyCar Series championship. Out of the 2 seasons that series existed, Zach Buchanan was the other champion back in season 1. As you can see, Austin Ogo is going to start 5th in the 09 car for JB Motorsports out of the 4 JB Motorsports affiliated cars that were entered for this race. Zach Buchanan, Austin Ogo, and Bobby Jones carry the JBM banner. Seth Cole is also an affiliated car of that team. And speaking of Zach Buchanan, one of the co-owners of JB Motorsports, will start 6th for today's race after finishing, I believe, 5th at Daytona. Starting 7th will be Ian Dutta and the number 42 car, Spreading the Butta, as people like to call him. This is his first Cup Series start, and though he is starting in the back, people were very impressed with how he ran, considering he is a rookie. So it'll be interesting to see how Mr. Dutta does in today's race. Starting on the outside of Ian will be Seth Cole. We already mentioned him. He starts 8th. This is his second start, and we'll see how he does. Had struggled a little bit at Daytona. Had connection issues, fell out of that one. Was not able to get back on track and finish the race. And then starting dead last will be Dylan Schwallenberg. He was one of the dominant cars at Daytona, only running a handful of races for this season, as he looks to focus to win a Truck Series championship. So with that being said, we're about to get race number 2 underway, as the field is going to roll off. Going to get some heat in the tires, and we'll get rolling here. 94 laps here from Phoenix. A very long race. Questionable whether they could go the distance on fuel. If they did, they'd have to do a little bit of saving to get there. This should definitely be a fuel economy race. This pace car is going to pull in. Riggleman and Dobbs to lead us to the green here from Phoenix. Here we go. Apologize for no objects, but very interesting. We've made it almost a full lap without a yellow. Remember, the Truck Series race, we didn't get past turn 1 and we already had a caution. That was a wreck-filled race. As you can see, they're already starting to spread out, which is a good thing. Bobby Jones is going to take a peek to the inside of Jonathan Feld. Feld gets a good run off the corner on the outside and looks to attack Eric Dobbs there, running in the second position. Look at Feld trying to make a power move to the outside. Can't quite get it done as he's almost out in no man's land. Somehow making it work out there, as we saw Bobby Jones blink a little bit. And look at Riggleman. Has pulled away. Pulled out to about 0.8 of a second of a lead. As Seth Cole has come to a stop on the racetrack and he's gotten off the track. So we stay green. No caution. Very surprising. So looked like Seth Cole was going to start in park for today's race. I was honestly surprised to see that he was going to do that. As Eric Dobbs has held off Jonathan Feld for the moment for second. Looking back, you can see Bobby Jones running in fourth. And you can see Austin Ogo, look at him running in fifth. He was able to get around Zach Buchanan on the first lap. He's running pretty well, I'd say. Speaking of Buchanan, see him back in sixth. And well, let's see. I think he might be saving fuel. Oh, sliding tires. He's going to spin it. 4's around in turn 3. Caution. We noticed he was off pace a little bit. Just as we made note of it, the 4 goes around. Some back end damage there, and I think he was trying to save some fuel. Well, take a look at a replay for confirmation on that one. But we're under the caution. Race leader is Mark Riggleman. Let's see where everyone's at under the caution. As I believe Dylan Schwallenberg is starting parked. Not sure where he ended up. But as Riggleman's going to lead everybody down pit road, I think. That he is. So everyone trying to make it on fuel mileage, or at least increase their odds of being able to make the distance on fuel. So, as Riggleman leads them down, take a look to see who's going to win the race off pit road as Riggleman gets a clean look into his stall. Feld had to go around Bobby Jones to make it into his stall. As Ian Dutta misses his stall, so it looks like he's going to win the race off pit road, even though he did not get serviced. Feld had to back up to get around Dobbs, and he's going to lose the race off pit road as a result to Mark Riggleman. So, it was Dutta, Riggleman, Feld, Dobbs, Ogo, Buchanan, Jones as the race off pit road. So Ian Dutta is your leader under the caution here from Phoenix, as I believe he's going to just stay out, lead a lap, and bring it down pit road. And we'll get you to look at a replay to see what happened. Alright, so we have a replay. Now listen to the engine of the 4 car. Does he cut the engine trying to save fuel heading into turn 3? Have a look. I think I see what happened here. Buchanan heads into turn 3, starts clutching, and when he releases the clutch from saving fuel, well, since this track's kind of flat, it just kind of swaps ends on him. Kind of a rookie mistake, and I don't think he expected that to happen. So he's the reason for the first caution. As we'll take a commercial break, and you're watching the NORL Cup Series here from Phoenix, as we'll be right back. Welcome back here to the Phoenix International Raceway as we're working the first caution of the day. As we are getting ready to restart, on lap number 9 of 94, you can see Zach Buchanan coming down pit road. I believe trying to make it as far on fuel as he can. Ian Dutta clutching, trying to save some fuel, and I think everybody's trying to save a little bit of fuel. See Austin Ogo giving our race leader Jonathan Feld a tap, try to get him to coast along a little bit, try to save some fuel. As if you cannot remember, when we went to break, Ian Dutta was the race leader, while he came down pit road to top off on fuel, as well as Mark Riggleman, which gave the lead away to Jonathan Feld. Eric Dobbs will line up second for the restart, and Austin Ogo and Bobby Jones will line up on row number 2 as pace car is in, getting ready to go back to green flag racing with 2 retirees from this race. Eric Dobbs caught the wall there, heading out of turn number 2. Is look at Austin Ogo. Got up to 3rd on the restart, went for 2nd on Eric Dobbs, slides up the racetrack, and here comes Bobby Jones to attack. As I think everybody caught the wall right there. And what we're talking about, 2 retirees from the race just before we went green. Like we saw, Seth Cole starting parked. He brought his car to a halt to retire, and I believe Dylan Schwallenberg did the same. So 2 starting parkers. And we're only 10 laps into the race. It's Mark Riggleman inside Austin Ogo into turn 1. That is for the 4th position. Riggleman has the edge, and Bobby Jones nearly spins it. Somehow manages to save it. What a save for the 96. I mean, when we first saw him, he was dead sideways. Somehow manages to hold on to it and get back going. So now he's going to try to attack his teammate here, Zach Buchanan, heading into turn number 1. As Buchanan gets held up by Austin Ogo and Ian Dutta as they battle. Dutta holds the 5th position as Ogo goes to the high side to try to make a pass on the 42. And Ogo is going to clear Dutta on the outside coming out of 4, and here comes Bobby Jones to the high side to attempt to pass the 42, but his momentum wavers a little bit as he has to drop back. Can't quite get to the inside of Dutta going through the dog leg, and here he comes to the apron, goes inside, neck and neck into turn 3, give Bobby Jones the advantage as they head through 3 and 4. As one JB Motorsports car gets past the 42, here comes another. Buchanan there to charge on the 42. Went to go inside, and look at Dutta nearly overcook it heading into 1. Manages to hold on to it. And Buchanan to the high side. Think he's going to be able to get around. Nearly contact made. As Buchanan had to get out of the gas there to not squeal the tires. Looking back to the front, Jonathan Feld has a 6/10 of a second lead over second place Eric Dobbs, and it's another 4/10 of a second back to 3rd place Mark Riggleman. Feld's out to a comfortable lead early in this race. Looks like we may be able to settle into a long green flag run. You can see Mark Riggleman close the gap on Eric Dobbs. What was noticeable that last time by, Dobbs lost ground to Feld as Riggleman gained ground on Feld and Eric Dobbs likewise. As Riggleman's going to be there to pounce heading into turn 1. Can't quite do it as he goes to the high side trying to look for some momentum, as he's about 3 car lengths behind the 50 as they head through the dogleg. battle for the 4th position, Austin Ogo. Bobby Jones, you can see Jones blink a little bit right there, as he's going to get by the 09. For the 4th position, as Ogo had a little bit of wiggle right there. When we last looked at this battle between Zach Buchanan and Ian Dutta, Buchanan could not quite get by the 42. He has since then, and Ian Dutta, I believe, has retired from the race as well. So, I believe we've had 3 starting Parkers to start off this race. We're not even on to lap 20 yet. As Jonathan Feld opens up the gap over Eric Dobbs once again. As Dobbs up the racetrack, here comes Mark Riggleman for position number 2. The 6 to the inside can't quite get it done. Driving for Wilson Racing. Will Wilson, the owner of that team, remember, he competed in the Cup race at Daytona. Ran well there until involved in a crash on the last lap. As here comes Riggleman to carry the banner for that team to the inside. And he's going to make the pass on Eric Dobbs for the 2nd position. Dobbs will fall to P3 on the charts. And Bobby Jones sits in 4th, about 3 seconds behind the front 3. See Austin Ogo. Oh, Jones smoked the tires heading through turn number 1. That's going to give up a lot of momentum. So Bobby Jones has really been fighting this racetrack in the last couple of laps. You can already see some tire lines in turn 3. I believe where Buchanan spun earlier, and that's where some others have smoked the tires. You can see the 4 right there, running a little bit off pace. Not sure what's really wrong there. The JB Motorsports car, maybe he's taking it easy, maybe he's saving fuel, who knows, I don't know. Maybe they missed the setup, I have no idea. Same with Ogo. You can actually see him gaining a little bit on Bobby Jones as he's been making a couple of mistakes. Eric Dobbs, he's really lost a lot of ground to Mark Riggleman and Jonathan Feld over the last couple of laps. He's fallen to about 2.5 seconds behind our race leader. Jonathan Feld is, whoa, Riggleman got really squirrely coming out of turn number 4. Battle for the lead. Put Mark Riggleman back out in front here at Phoenix. As we're just past a quarter of the way through this event. This 94-mile event. As Riggleman really opened the gap there, as Feld made a mistake through turn 2. And Riggleman has about, I believe, a half a second lead over now 2nd place Jonathan Feld. Feld has led the most laps so far. See Eric Dobbs still not gaining a lot of ground. As look at Austin Ogo gaining bit by bit, piece by piece, ever so slightly on the 96, his teammate Bobby Jones. Nice to see Ogo running decent, as he ran at the back most of the race in Daytona. Rallied to finish top 5 after wrecking his own teammate Zach Buchanan. As now Jones starts to pull away a little bit from the 09, so Bobby Jones looks like he's going to hold the 4th position for now. Austin Ogo still sits with a top 5 position, and you can see Buchanan off pace. I think he cooked the tires once, because you can tell he's way off pace. Not really sure what's wrong there. As Mark Riggleman out to about a 2nd lead, a little more than a 2nd. He about caught the wall right there. Remember, the Truck Series race here was about 30 laps, and we've already gotten more green flag laps than the Truck Series race, and we haven't even gone the full distance of what the Truck Series did. It's kind of funny, I guess you could say. As I believe Feld closed the gap a little bit that lap. That he did. See Eric Dobbs, he's fallen to about 3.5 seconds behind our race leader, Mark Riggleman, as he goes up the track. Maybe running that middle groove to look for some momentum coming off turn number 4, but nevertheless, still losing ground to our race leader, Mark Riggleman. See Bobby Jones, he's been able to hold off Austin Ogo the last 10 laps. As Ogo has been looking for some speed. Catch up to the 96. And then you can see back to Zach Buchanan in 6th. So he smoked the tires right there. I think that's kind of been the story of his race, making mistakes. You see Mark Riggleman, the race leader, out to a 1.1 second lead over second place Jonathan Feld. Remember last season in the NORL Truck Series at Iowa, Riggleman ran well that race, dominated most of the race, finished second to DJ Curtis in a big last lap battle, as Curtis went on to win 2 races in a row in that series. Jonathan Feld, last time by, only lost 1/100th of a second to the race leader Mark Riggleman. We'll see. Has that gap changed a whole lot? And it has. Feld has gained a couple tenths on Riggleman. So we'll see. The 71 can get back up to the 6, and maybe we'll have another battle for the race lead. Riggleman caught the wall. Think the tires may have gone away for the 6. He's back rolling, so that definitely tells us that all the tires are still inflated with on that race car. As he gets back rolling and gives the lead back to Jonathan Feld. Eric Dobbs still sits back there in 3rd, still falling back. And look who's creeping into view. Bobby Jones, trying to run down in 3rd place. Right now, doing a pretty good job, I'd say, for nearly spinning it a couple times. So we'll see if Jones could possibly get to the back bumper of the 50, see what he can do. Austin Ogo has fallen back a little bit from the 96. Really has maintained a steady gap to the race leader, has just not been gaining ground on the drivers in front of him, as they have been battling basically amongst themselves. And battle for the race lead once again. Feld had the lead at the stripe by 4/100ths of a second over Riggleman. But Riggleman has edged ahead. And look at Feld to the inside. Riggleman slid up the track again, drag race to the stripe, give the advantage to the 71 once again. As crossover for Riggleman heading into 1, can't quite get the job done. As we approach halfway in this race, about 10 or so laps. As Feld, I believe, is clutching a little bit, because you can see that splitter dig way into the ground. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't braking that hard, so he must be clutching a little bit. As Feld is pulled away to about 3.5 tenths over Mark Riggleman. But Riggleman closes the gap into 3. So that tells me Feld is most likely clutching to try to save a little bit of fuel. Which is incredible, really, because he's still holding the race lead. Now, I don't know what Riggleman's doing, but whatever they're doing, This allows Eric Dobbs to close the gap as well as Bobby Jones. So we went from the top 4 being spread out to about 5 seconds apart. Now it's about a second and a half between the race leader to 4th place. And I think that gap is continually getting smaller as Bobby Jones almost took a peek to the inside of the 50 of Eric Dobbs, as Dobbs will hold the 3rd position. Feld now opens the gap a little bit over Riggleman. As, let's see, does he save any fuel at all? Yep, he clutched it a little bit. He had that little bit of cushion so he could save a little bit of fuel. Well, he was able to do so and maintain that gap. And he's going to lead yet another lap. Most likely will lead I would say he's going to lead the most laps, as Bobby Jones just managed to get around Eric Dobbs. As Dobbs takes a peek to the outside. Still looking. Can't quite get the momentum to get around the 96. Still drop back a little bit. About 2 car lengths between them as Dobbs dives it into 1. Nearly contact. As Dobbs is going to lose his momentum again. And just as we're talking about that, here comes Riggleman looking for the race lead back. This has really been interesting these last couple of laps, watching the leaders battle. As Riggleman did close the gap last time by a 10th. So it'll be interesting to see, can Riggleman get back to the race lead? But Feld was a lot faster in turns 1 and 2 that time. But I think Riggleman's stronger in 3 and 4, especially when that 71 is cutting the engine to save just a little bit of fuel. As they come out of turn 4, Feld's going to gain a little bit, I believe, on 2nd place. Yep, he gained a 10th on Riggleman that time by. As Dobbs has lost ground to Bobby Jones, as he sits in 4th right now. Whoa, Riggleman! Nearly lost it and saves it, but he's going to give up 2nd to Bobby Jones. Think he locked up the brakes as he's trying to get some heat in the tires. Slaps the wall on the straightaway. Scary moment for the pole sitter. As we are approaching halfway through this race. Next time by is halfway. See Bobby Jones still holding 2nd, Riggleman 3rd, and Eric Dobbs in 4th. As Jonathan Feld's going to come around to lead at the halfway mark. And here's your mid-race report. Brought to you by NORL, the National Online Racing League. Jonathan Feld is your race leader. He has led the most laps so far today. 2nd most laps led leader would be Mark Riggleman. Those are the only 2 drivers to lead laps in today's race. Bobby Jones started out decent to start the race. Had issues. Nearly spun the car. Got dropped back as low as 6th in the race, in the running order, has now fought his way up to 2nd. Mark Riggleman has been strong all race, has popped into the lead a couple times, has had issues, has dropped back as low as 5th, and now runs in 3rd. Eric Dobbs has been a sleeper the whole race, has been running strong, but has kind of been running in the shadows as he runs 4th. Zach Buchanan has now been able to get to 5th position at the halfway point in the race. And Austin Ogo sits in 6th a lap down as he came down pit road. So it's been a tough day for the 09, and that is your NORL mid-race report. As we've got a battle for the lead heating up here. Bobby Jones has closed the gap on Jonathan Feld. So we've got 44 laps to go. Somebody smoked the tires in the back. Riggleman's around and into Eric Dobbs and over. Up into the safer barrier, rolling a couple times, and back on the wheels. The second time, or the second wreck I should say, we've seen somebody flip. Riggleman is rolling, so he's going to bring it down pit road. Heavy damage to the number 6. Put us under the second caution. Austin Ogo is most likely going to be the free pass recipient. Eric Dobbs got some damage from that, as you can see. Buchanan jumps to third, and Bobby Jones second. Jonathan Feld is your race leader. Let's see what happened exactly. Alright, so looking at Mark Riggleman heading into turn 1, running in the third position. Had already had issues with his tires earlier, and the tail just gradually comes around, locks up the brakes, releases them, lets the car roll, nearly has it saved, and as it's rolling, his momentum's gonna carry him down the track. Notices Eric Dobbs coming, tries to hit the brakes, but nope, he's gonna get T-boned by Dobbs. Dobbs has nowhere to go. Dobbs hits the inside wall. Riggleman goes over, nearly gets back on his wheels, hits the safer barrier with the undercarriage of the car. Car does yet another barrel roll, lands on the wheels, and he backs it into the safer barrier and gets the car rolling, I might add. Let's get another view of this. On board with Mark Riggleman. That all happened within a couple of seconds. You can see Buchanan squeak by there. So we are under the caution for the second time of the day, I should say, here from Phoenix, and we'll take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Welcome back to the Phoenix International Raceway as we're working the second caution of the day. Jonathan Feld is your race leader, as you can see Austin Ogo. The only reason he's at the front of the pacing line is because he's very shortly going to come down and receive his free pass to go around and get one lap back to put him back on the lead lap, as Feld is the race leader. Bobby Jones is second as Riggleman comes to pit road again. Third is Zach Buchanan, and fourth is Eric Dobbs, as Ogo is going to go around to get his lap back. So we will now have 6 cars on the lead lap. They double up for the restart. Apologize for the warp issues. I believe that was a NRT thing because a lot of people blinked out there. As the field rolls on the backstretch, we're on lap 55 of 94. So we only have 40 laps to go, this time by 39. So we've been rolling through this race, I'd say, pretty fast, considering we've been green most of the race, as Ogo has caught the field, and Riggleman has just now caught the field. So the field is forming up and bunching up as they roll through 3 and 4. And on the front stretch, pace car is in. We'll see how long they go green this time. And Feld gets a good restart, and we're back underway. Bobby Jones right on the back bumper of the 71 heading into turn 3. Cannon went up the track to try to find some momentum. He's going to get a good run coming out of the corner. And look at Ogo battling Eric Dobbs for the 4th position. And Buchanan tried to dive it in under Bobby Jones. Couldn't quite get it done. Jones clipped the apron there and gives up momentum to our race leader, Jonathan Feld. Now, with one of the dominant cars of the race, Mark Riggleman, getting involved in a crash, that obviously is going to take him out of contention for a win. And that basically takes out some of the competition for the race leaders. It's now between Bobby Jones and Jonathan Feld, unless the guys behind can make some kind of run at the end of this race. See Zach Buchanan running in third, Austin Ogo running in the fourth position. Eric Dobbs has slipped to fifth now, as he's gradually dropped back in the course of the last 30 laps or so. Wanted to take a look to the inside of the 09, just wasn't close enough. But look at Ogo, getting closer and closer to the back bumper of the 4. They head off into 3. It gets really close to the back bumper of Buchanan, nearly contact. Bobby Jones and Jonathan Feld still running first and second. No real battle there, but the battle is for now third, as we've got a car around, I think. Still green. Mark Riggleman has spun and backed it into the turn 1 safer barrier. No caution. And I believe Riggleman backed it into the turn 3 wall too, so the number 6 has really seen some issues. And I gotta believe that might have to do with it being his first race of the season, as Ogo gets closer and closer to the back bumper of the 4, heading into 3. Contact! Buchanan around and into the wall. Ogo spins. Dobbs misses it. Caution. And the back bumper of the 4 is destroyed. So there's another person out of the battle for the race win. Ogo. I'm not sure if he was to blame for that wreck or not. I'll have to take a look at it. But a lot of carnage the last couple laps. Especially the reason why we are under caution. We'll see if Feld brings the field down pit road as we await for that. Getting confirmation from race control that Austin Ogo is going to be put end of the longest line for causing that wreck. And once again, he turned his teammate Zach Buchanan, as we saw Ogo speed down pit road to get the ULL penalty, as the field comes down pit road. Who's going to get off pit road first? Dobbs nearly boxed Feld in there. Feld gets out of pits first, and Ogo is going to come out second, but that's not going to stand it. Bobby Jones is going to actually end up second out of the pits, then Dobbs, then Buchanan. So, under caution number 3 for the day here from Phoenix, we'll take a look at a replay. Looking at what happened between the two JB Motorsports teammates, Zach Buchanan and Austin Ogo. Heading into turn 3, I mean, no one really brake checks each other. Ogo just takes it in too hot, gets into the back bumper of the 4, and just sends him around. Buchanan tries to save it, but just backs it into the wall. Nothing he could do. And then whips it around, and then Ogo spins as a result, trying to stay off of his teammate. Eric Dobbs just barely squeaks on by, and we could have had a 3-car pileup in turn number 3, and Ogo just barely backs it in. Remember, he had the scary tumble in the Truck Series race, so I don't know if that's stuck in his mind or not. But we're under caution number 3 here from Phoenix. Jonathan Feld is your race leader. With that being said, we'll take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back here from Phoenix. Working the third caution of the day here from Phoenix. You have not missed a thing. Jonathan Feld is still your race leader. Bobby Jones still sits in second. Third is Eric Dobbs. Fourth is Zach Buchanan with that back end damage. Now we will have to see how much that damage is going to affect the 4-car. Austin Ogo got the end of the longest line penalty. He will restart 5th, and Mark Riggleman, I believe, is going to get... Or no, actually, he is on the lead lap. He stayed out. He's going to be your race leader for the restart. Apologies there to Mr. Riggleman. Did not realize he stayed out. I thought he was a lap down at first. So a very battered and banged race car is going to be the leader for the restart. Jonathan Feld will restart outside of the 6th. Bobby Jones will restart 3rd. Eric Dobbs will restart 4th. Buchanan and Ogo will make up row 3 for the restart. We will restart on lap 66 of 94, where we will have 29 laps to go. So we'll see how quick is Riggleman going to get out of the gate on this restart. We'll have to wait and find out. He was one of the dominant cars at the beginning of the race. Had tire issues. Slid up the racetrack in one corner. Just made a tiny little bit of driver error. Slid out of the groove. Tail end started to come around. And gets T-boned by Eric Dobbs. Riggleman goes flipping. And has all this damage to deal with. But is going to be the race leader coming to the restart. As we're back to green. That fame was short-lived as Riggleman's going to get swamped here. 3 wide for the race lead. Bobby Jones takes over the lead, and look at Eric Dobbs go to 2nd. Feld slips back inside to take 2nd away, and look at Ogo going for 4th. Buchanan got held up by Riggleman there. So they head off into 1. And Bobby Jones still the race leader. Ogo's going to take a peek inside of Eric Dobbs. Heading into turn 3. Dobbs has the advantage on entry. He's going to have the advantage on the exit. Give the advantage to Austin Ogo. Drag race. Give Ogo the 3rd position across the start-finish line. And Buchanan creeps into view now as he looks to get a position. Apologize for the lag. And now Jonathan Feld goes back to work to try to get the race lead away from Bobby Jones. How about this? Bobby Jones started 4th for the race. Didn't really talk about him a whole lot, except when we nearly saw him spin a couple times. Was back as far as 6th. Managed to rally all the way up to the 3rd position when Jonathan Feld and Mark Riggleman had their issues, and then Jones was able to swipe the lead away off of a restart. As we've been having some blinking issues. I'm not sure if that was server or a client connection there, but Jones still the race leader on lap 70 of 94. 25 laps to go. Feld is not done yet. So he creeps in on the race leader. And look at Ogo. Ogo was running back as far as 6th, 1 lap down, and is now up to 3rd on the lead lap. It'd be pretty cool to see Austin Ogo come out of here with a podium finish. But I'm not sure. If these leaders start battling, it gives Ogo and Dobbs a shot. But if they stay single file, they might run away from the 3 behind them. What happened to Mark Riggleman? He brings it down pit road. He's got a lot of damage to his car. And I think the engine's blown, and we're under caution. I believe the engine has expired on the number 6 U.S. Army Chevrolet, because Riggleman is coasting down pit road at snail speed, and I don't hear a pulse in that engine. So I think he's going to be done. Yeah, he is, unfortunately. What a tough break. His first Cup Series start ran so well. only to have it all go wrong here in the late stages of the race, as we're working caution number 4 here from Phoenix. As Bobby Jones, is he going to bring it down pit road? Nope, he fakes out the leaders. So, we'll take a look to see what happened exactly to Mark Riggleman. Gonna take a look to see what happened with Mark Riggleman here. Let's go on board with him. You can see the smoke come out of the hood. And he got to the apron out of the way of the leaders. But then the engine expired, and it brought out the caution. Let's get one more look at this. The motor just gave out on him. That was pretty weird. Then Riggleman put it into neutral, and then it just died on him. And that's the reason we're under caution for the 4th time here from Phoenix. We'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll get back to the action. You will not miss a thing as you're watching the NORL Cup Series. Race number 2 here from Phoenix. Welcome back to the Phoenix International Raceway. Working caution number 4 in this 94 lap event. Bobby Jones will restart on point. Jonathan Feld, the dominant driver of the race, restarts second. Austin Ogo has had a couple problems of himself. Restarts third. Zach Buchanan has also struggled in this race. Restarts fourth. And restarting fifth will be Eric Dobbs. He's kind of been quiet all race, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. We will restart with just 19 laps to go. So, this could be a key restart. This could be our last restart. So we'll have to wait and find out. Apologize for a little bit of lag here. And onto the front stretch. Pace car is in. 19 laps. When we get back to racing, here we go. We saw Buchanan making it an aggressive move. On Austin Ogo on the restart to go to third. Eric Dobbs goes inside of Ogo for fourth now. And look at Buchanan look to the inside for second on Jonathan Feld. Trying to make it JB Motorsports 1-2. Feld closes the door, heading through the dogleg, and we're back to single file. As a little server lag there. Apologize for that. Dobbs look to the inside. Buchanan shuts the door. See, keeps his sights on the 71 of Feld. All the leaders. The top 5, the remaining 5 cars in the race, within a second of each other. As yes, you were not mistaken, Mark Riggleman has fallen out of the race due to engine failure. So 4 retirees from the race. 3 of them start in parks, 1 of them from a racing incident, as Buchanan takes another defensive line into turn number 1. Dobbs, patient with it, doesn't give him the bumper. But he's probably going to have the momentum heading into 3. Apologies for the lag. I don't know what is up with it. But you can see Jonathan Feld trying to keep his sights on the race leader, Bobby Jones. Now, if they get side by side, this will bring third, fourth, and fifth back into this. Jones slipped up the racetrack a little bit. Here comes Feld. Can't quite get there. So he's going to lose some more ground, I think. So actually, Feld has closed the gap a little bit. Here he comes. Into 3. Approaching 10 to go. Man, this lag's really annoying. I apologize. Battle heating up for third. Dobbs and Buchanan. Dobbs finally gets there. To the back bumper of the 4. Inside. And he's got the position on him. But Buchanan back to the inside. Goes all the way down coast to coast looking for the position. And gives it to Dobbs. And nearly lost it there. As Bobby Jones has jumped out to a half-second lead over Jonathan Feld. It's time by 11 to go. We'll take one last quick commercial break to fix the lag, and we will be right back from Phoenix. Welcome back to the Phoenix International Raceway. We have 11 laps to go here from Phoenix. I know the lag hasn't really fixed itself, but hopefully it will over the course of the next couple of laps. As Bobby Jones has a commanding lead over Jonathan Feld. Ten to go. Jones opened up the gap. As Bobby Jones blinks out again. Trust me, folks, the lag's annoying me just as much as it is you and me, so I do apologize for it once again. And Dobbs trying to make a charge on Jonathan Feld. This could be a battle for not only second place, but also the points lead. Feld should be able to hold him off. And even if Dobbs gets by, I believe Feld would still have the points lead by virtue of having his win and a couple point cushion. You can see Austin Ogo running right there. In the 4th position, I believe. Yep, Buchanan runs 5th right behind him. Feld still setting its sights on Bobby Jones, but I think he's got a little more to worry about because he's got Eric Dobbs right on his tail. And Dobbs took a look. Feld dives it in and guards the position. Smokes the tires a little bit. You can see the streaks left on the pavement. This time by 6 to go. The frame rate continues to get worse as the race goes on. And Dobbs to the inside. Can't quite get the job done. Feld is able to hold him off once again on the high side. Here comes Dobbs. Charging underneath. Side by side to the start-finish line. Give the advantage to Dobbs as they cross the stripe. 5 to go. Bobby Jones has a commanding lead, about a second over Eric Dobbs. C.A. Buchanan has fallen back. I think I saw him nearly spin earlier on those tires, so he's just going to try to bring it home in 5th, I believe. There's Ogo sitting in 4th. Kind of been a quiet day of sorts. Also kind of been pretty loud because he been involved in some incidents. Then you got Feld, who's led the most laps by far. Eric Dobbs, who's kind of been quiet most of the day, and he's running second at a very important time of the race as he's gaining on Bobby Jones. It's time by 3 laps to go. Can Dobbs close the gap enough to get to the number 96 of Bobby Jones? The gap closed a little bit more that time. Dobbs is running out of laps. He slides up the racetrack, caught the wall. This brings Feld back into it. If Jones makes a mistake, they're both there to pounce. And I believe the gap went up. Jones was faster by 0.2, this time by. White flag is waving here from Phoenix. This is the money lap coming up for Bobby Jones. One more smooth and clean lap. White flag from Phoenix. Jones gained even more on Dobbs that time, and all he has to do is bring it on home. Half a lap to go for Jones. No mistakes. Smooth through 3 and 4, and he's going to be an NORL Cup Series winner through turns 3 and 4. And out of turn number 4, Bobby Jones is your winner. He's going to win here today at Phoenix. Congratulations to him. His first NORL Cup win. So we got a spin in the back. Oh, man. That's interesting. Bobby Jones is your race winner as he's going to come down. Probably going to do some burnouts, do his thing. So he's your winner here from Phoenix. Remember, Daytona was not kind to him. He retired, was out of the race. Finished, I believe, 17th. Not what he wanted there. But he's going to burn down the house as he gains some points. On our points leader, Feld, and in second place, Dobbs. So, a good points day for Bobby Jones as he, in the rest of the best of the NORL Cup Series, will head off to Las Vegas next week for another Western Showdown. So we head off to Sin City. Who's going to gamble the most to get to victory lane from Vegas? That will be yet to be seen. Here's your official results. Bobby Jones is your race winner. He wins by half a second over Eric Dobbs. So Dobbs did close the gap a little bit. Jonathan Feld gets third after leading the most laps in the race. Austin Ogo ends up fourth in today's race after getting involved in a couple spins. Zach Buchanan brings it on home to finish fifth. Another fifth place finish for him. Mark Riggleman, after leading some laps, starting on the pole, after having some issues, is going to finish out of the race in sixth. Seventh is going to be Ian Dutta, after starting and parking, after leading a lap, I do believe. Dylan Schwallenberg, starting parked, he got eighth. And then Seth Cole was the first person to retire. He start and parked as well. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to this NORL Cup Series Race 2 here from Phoenix. Next race you will see on the NORL TV network will be the NORL Truck Series race number 3 of Season 2 for that series at Las Vegas Motor Speedway after Jonathan Tungate comes off of his first career Truck Series win. We'll see what he can do at the battle in Sin City. Well, that's a wrap here from Phoenix. Once again, I'd like to congratulate Bobby Jones on his first career NORL Cup Series victory. And the next race for the Cup Series will be off as well in Las Vegas. And we will see everybody there for the final time here from Phoenix. Goodbye, everybody.